Lopez Island residents Nick and Sarah Jones have operated an organic farm for the past 2 years. Customers have used a cash box and the honor system to purchase seafood and beef from a small farm stand near the road. The Jones family farm was running smoothly until 2 weeks ago when Nick received a letter from San Juan County. The county wants Nick to upgrade his stand to comply with commercial building codes, including upgrading handicap access. Nick estimates the commercial upgrades to cost approximately $25,000.
And as a commercial building, it's subject to commercial code, which means wheelchair ramps, it means all sorts of expensive upgrades. And then they refuse to tell us specifically what we would need to do in order to upgrade. And we just decided we can't sign a blank check. They said, well, apply for a permit, pay the fee, and then we'll tell you what you need to do within that. We did some research on it. We talked to some contractor friends about what it would entail. We came up with an estimate of somewhere in the $25,000 range, and said we can't do this. This is too much.
The issues facing Nick and his farm stand have raised concerns from local residents.
The issues that Nick and Sarah are up against are issues that I'm concerned about. As a 30-year city manager, I'm believing this county's gotten a little out of hand and overbearing in their enforcement aspects and their fairness on how it's applied. And the issues that I'm beginning to look at is the issue of how much commercial is commercial and what's the problem with Nick's property.
Nick wants the county to look at common sense solutions rather than blindly enforcing strict commercial codes.
We would love, for instance, the option to put up a little sign outside saying, handicapped, call 0533, which is our telephone number, we will come and serve you. In our minds, that's a reasonable outcome. As opposed to saying, we need to jump through their hoops on their schedule with our time and our money. It just doesn't work.
Nick says he is concerned about the safety of his customers and doesn't need the county to tell him what to do.
As operators of the farm and owners of the business, the last thing we're going to do is put anybody's health or safety at risk when they walk into our farm stand. And the idea that jumping through a bunch of hoops, spending a bunch of money, and engaging in a bureaucratic process is going to improve that is just ridiculous.
According to Nick and others, these commercial rules may apply to other small businesses as well.
Well, according to the planning department staff, in their interpretation, every artist studio would be subject to this, every home church, anytime there is any sort of public invitation, be it a sandwich board on the road, a notice in the paper, a Bible study group that goes out in the paper, that those folks would be subject, anybody that does that is subject to a commercial permit.
Given the approach that farm stands, if that's what they want to call this, have to meet a commercial building code, then yes, there'll be a lot of people who couldn't meet it. We have artists where the public is invited in. We have probably churches on island that don't meet totally the code. The enforcement aspect is a little bit heavy-handed from that aspect. I see nothing wrong with what they've done here, and as a city manager of past, I would not have had a problem with this.
Nick feels he should be able to sell the food he produces without these restrictions.
Imposition on our right or anybody's right to sell what they produce off of their own property. I mean, to require us to come up to the standards of a restaurant or a full-service grocery store or a motel, it's cost prohibitive, and that's all it is. And I think about subsequent generations of people going into farming. There's just more and more and more barriers, more and more and more problems. And every time every time they impose another level of restrictions on us, it's just that much harder to get going.
Nick feels that local and state government is taking an adversarial posture towards small businesses like his.
And increasingly, it seems like our state and local governments in particular are taking a very adversarial posture towards us and other people in our position. And you start wondering, why are we bothering? Why are we beating ourselves up to produce food, make land productive, employ people, and pay taxes, and just in order to fund the harassment of us and people like us?
San Juan County has harassed Nick and Sarah Jones to the point where they have finally given up. What has happened to their small retail farm stand? Thanks to the San Juan County Council, they are closed.